Right, let's talk stock markets. Very pleased to be joined in the studio now by a man with some research and a new app. Muhammad Rasould is CEO at Amana. He's in with us this morning. Good morning, Muhammad.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Which is described by the notes in front of me as a neo-broker. So before we get into your research about what could get more people into regional markets, what is a neo-broker?
I think neo-brokers, it's a new term describing brokers that are really looking to try to change and shift the paradigm of the classic traditional broker.
How?
Usually through digitization, through apps, taking things, processes and procedures, making them more efficient through the use of technology.
Okay, well, let's have a look at some of the good old-fashioned research that you have done first, looking at the barriers to entry in this wider Middle East, North Africa region when it comes to getting people to invest and trade in the local markets. What did you find were the biggest barriers?
Well, really three in number. The sheer number of unbanked people throughout MENA, I think, is a huge contributor. Depending upon the country, it can be anywhere as high as 70% of the population in Egypt to 13% here in the UAE. Literacy is a huge one as well. It's a huge point for us. Less than 30% of the people throughout MENA are financially literate compared to places like the UK at 67% or 70%. So literacy, as well as general salaries. Salaries is probably the final one I would point at is the big issue.
What specific to the UAE did you identify?
It's interesting. In the UAE, there's a huge population of 35 to 15-year-olds that are starting to come into the market, which is really the perfect time to be investing or to start investing or to be thinking about how to change your financial future. So it's a huge opportunity for here in the UAE. Emiratis in particularly have shown a propensity to care very much about what's happening in the UAE. Particularly if you look at the student population abroad at universities, about 90% of them plan on coming back home and trying to create change and improve the market. So it's a great opportunity, I think, for the UAE with just the numbers of people in this demographic and to create change and to help people have access to the markets.
If we want to deepen the markets, though, in terms of the amount of liquidity that we've got in there, it makes sense to try and pull in the expat population as well. What do you see as the main barriers to trading there?
I think locally and regionally, it's literacy first and probably cost second. I think that the local and regional markets are still very expensive to trade and invest in. I think that the exchanges are working very hard to change that. And I've been very happy with movement there. But literacy is as much a barrier as it is on the cost side.
Right. Well, let's look at what you guys are doing. Trading app, 2.5 weeks old. What have you seen already in terms of the demographic of who's signing up with you?
It's a lot of interest in actually the same demographic that I cited before from the UAE population, between 15 and 35. Mostly men, although we're trying to expand the female demographic. We think that's critical in region. And we're getting a lot of interest, primarily due to the simplicity and the frankness of our business proposition with people. We're very clear and transparent about what we do and how we do it. I think a lot of people like that.
Looking at your website, you promised me that you're not taking commission and that what you pay for trades is what I pay for trades, and yet you're a business. So how do you make money?
Yeah, it's different product by product. So our cost is your cost is the model that we run on local and regional shares. And that's really designed to try to increase access. So we don't make any money on local and regional shares.
None at all?
None at all. Our cost to clear is the same price that every one of our customers pay. We make revenues on other products, international shares, digital assets, commodities, and that's really what we can trade at in the wholesale market versus our retail price on our platform. So it's a very simple business model.
So, and by that you mean what? That you're making money in the spreads, you're buying in bulk?
Correct, yeah, just like any wholesale retail relationship. So we may trade with an institutional counterparty, let's say, for example, on Bitcoin or Ethereum or gold, and the price on our platform is got a small embedded markup in that. That's our profit. But unlike a lot of places, there's no additional commissions on that, right? And so I think that's the big difference for us. As far as the local and regional shares, This is really designed to create a community of us to try to pressure price movement on the commissions charged and the cost to clear across the region. Like, I feel the more of us that are trading those markets, the costs will come down.
What's your sort of ticket to entry? How little money can I get involved in trading through your app with?
There's no minimum deposit. So we're big on fractionalization. So we even fractionalize the local and regional shares for people. And again, that's about expanding access. That's a key mission for us. With the number of people throughout the region that are unbanked, that have low salaries, like, in order for us to really expand the demographic of people that can participate, we have to fractionalize different assets. So that's how. And there's no minimum balance, so you can buy as little of Tesla as you want, as little as Bitcoin as you want. You can create a diverse portfolio of local and regional shares, all through fractionalization. So that's how we do it, but there's no minimum.
What do I do if I have bought into some of the local IPOs and I want to start using your platform? How do I start building a portfolio through you with stuff that I've got all over the place?
Well, if you have let's say you participated with the latest IPO on DFM, you can transfer those shares that you were allocated into your account at Amana. So you can transfer shares from any broker over to us from any local and regional share that you might have. Even on the international side, you can do the same thing if you have an international portfolio.
A couple of questions coming in for you. One from Mo. Do we own the shares on this platform, or is it more of a hedge on the underlying asset?
You own the shares. Yeah. Now, we have a lot of products on the platform. There are some that are derivatives where it's underlying, but because there's thousands of products. But particularly what we're talking about, you own the shares.
And who owns you?
We're a private company. We have a very small ownership circle based primarily two gentlemen, one family office out of Lebanon and one local from Syria.
What kind of license do you have here to do this, and how deeply can you then get involved in not just the share trading process, but even buying into the IPOs?
Well, we have a few different licenses from all over, whether that's in England or in the EU or here in Dubai or a variety of different jurisdictions. What we're in the process of doing right now is changing those licenses locally. For example, in the process of upgrading our license with the DFSA, as well as we hope to become clearing members of the DFM. So that'll shift and change, but right now, a lot of different licenses that we hold as a group.
If you change with the DFM, does that mean that people might be able to eventually buy into the IPOs through you?
Directly, yes, and my hope is that will help to bring our costs down. Being a direct clearing member, giving direct access, it should allow us to decrease the price point. I'm getting a little bit into our corporate strategy here, so I have to be careful, but that's the plan. We want to do that throughout the region.
Well, you're lucky we're out of time, so you are literally saved by the bell. Muhammad Rasould is the CEO of Amana, a digital trading platform, digital brokers, neo brokers. Thank you very much for your time.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.